Hey everyone, thanks for checking out my latest tutorial. Today we're going to be making this cute little heart pendant, perfect for Valentine's Day, although it's just under the wire, we're getting it out in time, but absolutely beautiful for any occasion. Going to be using the red, and this is silver plated copper wire. And if you have any questions about where I got it or anything, just ask me in the comments and I'll be happy to get to them. So let's make it. Okay, so to make this heart pendant, you're going to need a little heart cabochon. This one is about an inch big, long and wide. You're going to need a 5mm bead. You know, you could change that up a little bit if you like. You're going to need 5 pieces of the 20 gauge wire, 5 of those cut at 13 inches. You're going to need 28 gauge. If you want to do a 2-color combo, you're going to have color of your choice. Yeah, I put mine on a bobbin, works great. You need quite a bit of that. And I'm going to use the red for this one to go with the little heart. So you're going to need 2 of those, or you could just do 1 color as well if you like. You're going to need the flat nose pliers, the nylon pliers, the cutters, and the round nose pliers to get started. So let's make it. Okay, so we're going to start our weave at 6 inches in. So we want to center this pattern. So about at the 6-inch mark, you're going to grab all 5 wires, kind of spread them out a little bit so you can get around them easier. We're going to start with, if you're going to do the 2-color combo, you're going to start with your silver. Just not the red one, or what, if you're going to match the heart, don't do the red yet. We're going to do the silver. So I'm just going to space these out a little bit, and we're going to start by wrapping this bottom wire 3 times. So we're going to wrap that one 3 times. The sun just came out and it is beautiful, and it's lighting up the background here. I had to turn my back to it a little bit because it was a little too bright. Okay, so we got the bottom 3 wrapped, and we're going to wrap the bottom 2 wires twice. So just around the bottom 2. Remember not to pull them too snug. You always want to see air between your wires. So then you're going to come up under the second line, under the second wire, and you're going to wrap the next 2, so you're going to go over the 3rd wire twice. And around. You're going to wrap those 2 wires, the 3rd and 2nd wire, you're going to wrap those twice. Then you're going to come up under the 3rd wire, and you're going to go over the 4th, and you're going to wrap those 2 twice. 3rd and 4th one. Then you're going to come up under the 4th one. And wrap the 4th and 5th one twice. And then you're just going to stop there. And grab your nylon pliers, smash that down, push it down. And then you're going to grab you leave this line attached, grab your colored wire, you're going to sneak in under here on the bottom wire again, and just leave like an inch or anything. You can just hold it down with your thumb. You're just going to wrap this bottom one twice, just to grip it. And on this pattern, we're going to grab the bottom 2 twice. Like that. And then we're going to grab the bottom 3 twice. Create like a little heart. Again, try not to pull them too close together. It's tempting because since we're not going between the wires, it's easy to pull them close together. Keep them spaced out. Alright, and then we're going to go back down to grabbing the bottom 2 wires twice. Ooh, ooh, got her twisted. The bottom 2. And then you're going to grab the single bottom one twice. And then grab your nylon pliers, smash that down real good, push it down so you get like a solid red little triangle there. And then you're simply just going to remove that red one out of the way, and you can remove this one. Smush it down. And then when you come back up here to this top wire, we're going to grab that one again. You're going to grab the top 2. So you're going to come up under the 4th wire and go over the top of the 5th. And do that twice. And when you go over the top, come around the back, and you're going to come up under the 3rd wire and go over the 4th. So you're going to grab the 3rd and 4th wire twice. So we're just kind of copying the other side, just going reverse down in the back. And then you're going to grab the 2nd, come around the bottom, and then go over the 3rd. Boy, my wires keep wanting to really come together. And over the 3rd. Going to do that one twice. And then grab the bottom 2 twice. And then grab the single bottom one twice. And that's your first little diamond there. See if I can get a good picture of it for a screenshot. You can remove this one too. Remove this little tie if you like. Alright, so we're gonna repeat that. We're gonna go, after you got the bottom 2 here, you're gonna go wrap the bottom 2 twice. Come up under the 2nd one and grab the 2nd and 3rd one twice. I gotta separate these better. I think I need to flare them out a little better down here. Keep wanting to come together. Got a funky bend in them. Alright, so then come up under the 3rd one and grab the 3rd and 4th one twice. Scooch them down. And then under the 4th one and go over the 5th one, 4th and 5th one twice. And once you get up here, just leave your wire there. Jeez, these ones really want to come together for some reason. Alright, so I do like to press these once I get them there. So the tighter you keep it, it's going to make it more colorful and just kind of better looking. So then grab your red wire again and sneak under there. Bottom wire, wrap that one twice. Ew, bend that one out real good. There's 1, 2. Then grab the bottom 2 twice. And then grab the bottom 3, go over all 3 wires twice. I like coming up to the third wire. So then grab the bottom two. And then that bottom single one twice. And remove the tie. And the reason I don't just jump across is because you would see it on the heart and it doesn't look as good, and it kind of lifts it up. So I don't really like that look. So I just remove them, and they stay because the design is so pressed down and pushed together that it doesn't, doesn't pull on it or anything. So then again, you come back up to the top and grab your top two twice. We're going to go around the back. Pull those a little close together there. Then go back under the third one and grab the third and fourth one twice. And then grab the second and third one twice. So we're just going to repeat this pattern till we get, let's see, how many do we need? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me count them. I can only count one thing at once. And then grab this bottom one twice. Push it together. Starting to get a cute little pattern going here. Alright, so there's 2 sets. And we're going to keep doing that. Let's see, 2. So I'll just look at this one here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. So we're going to do 11 of them. And we do want it kind of centered in your wire. So, you know, as you go, you can just try to keep, like once you reach the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th one, you want it close to the 7.5 mark. Once you reach the 6th one here. So you can kind of scoot your pattern down a little bit. Just keep it as centered as best as you can. And I'll meet you back after we got 11 of them on. And then remember, just remove your ties as you go. Don't ever undo this one. And I'll meet you back on the last couple ones. I wanted to mention too, and hopefully you're not too far into your design. I got 4 on there. But, we should have started it at 5 instead of at the 6-inch mark, because I'm noticing that is more centered. More centered? So yeah, so about 6 of those would reach about at the 6.5-inch mark. So these can be scooched down. Just carefully slide them down with your finger till you reach your starting point here, about 5 inches. Just so you don't get too much of your pattern on there before doing that. I mean, you can scooch the whole pattern down, but it is easier when there's only a couple on there. So I just wanted to mention that before you got too far. And you can see the sun's coming up, but you see how bright it is when it hits the sunlight. It's looking pretty. So I'm definitely going to have to move a little bit to the shade here. But alright, I'll meet you back here after I got a couple more on there. Okay, so I got 6 sets on here. And I just wanted to show you when you center your wires, you want the 6th one to be in like 6.5-inch mark here for center. And then we're going to do 5 more. Just wanted to check in with you guys and see that's where you're at, because we're going to need all this wire for the rest of the heart. So I'll meet you back here on the last one, and we'll do the last one together. Alright, I got 10 of them on there. It's looking really good. Cute little pattern. I'm going to do this last one together. And so I'm on the silver wire. So we're just going to, I started with the 2 wraps in the center here. So I can stay in focus. So I'm going to grab those bottom 2 twice. Then under the second wire, grab the second and third one twice. Under the third one, and grab the third and fourth one twice. And then under the fourth one, and over over the fourth and fifth one twice. And then just leave that wire attached. Come between the first and second, just enough to hold it down with your thumb. And grab that bottom one twice with the red wire. And then around 1 and 2 twice. And then we're going to go around the bottom 3 wires, 1, 2, and 3 twice. Remember to keep enough space so you can see the air through them. And then we're going to go back to just the bottom 2 twice. And then that single one, the bottom one twice. Woo! What? And press it down, scooch it down. And then just twist these, spin them till they come off. Feel like my camera is moving around here. Right. It is important that this pattern is pressed down so you can just use your fingers. You can feel it moving under your fingers. Don't start out here and push it because you could just bend the whole design. You just want to bring them as closest together as you can. Nice and snug. And then back up to the, oh, I guess we should remove this one. So just a spin, takes it right off. And back to this one, we're going to come behind and under the fourth one and go around the fourth and fifth one. And then come around behind the back and come under the third one and go over the third and fourth one twice. And then come under the second one from behind and grab the second and third one. And then the bottom 2 twice. And then grab this single one down here. We're going to wrap this one 3 times since it's the end. Since it's the 11th one. And grab your nylon pliers. Scooch. Ooh, looks like a little bubble there. What's that? Alright, and then let's just double check our pattern, make sure it's starting about the 5, 6.5 in the center there, looking pretty good. Alright, so I'll press down as tight as you can get it. Scooch it down nice and snug. Alright, so you can leave your wire attached for now, I don't think that's a problem. So we're going to flip it over this way. And then on the middle one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on this 6th one here, you're just gonna put your fingers in the middle there and just put like a little bend on it. Slowly get a bend going there. You're gonna bend it to it's about the shape of the heart, like that. And then you'll notice the wires will slowly kind of move around a little bit till you get like a little V going. Just slowly wiggle them a little bit. And we want it to be in front of the heart just a little bit so that it doesn't just pop off. You know, you want it to hug and snug the little heart. So what I do is I just kind of hold it right there and then I just bend 1/2 around the heart. Slowly. Just a good start, you know. And do the other side here. Just hold it there and just kind of bend it around. We'll micro fix it here in a little bit. You want it a little flatter in front. And you can kind of flare these out, just so they're out of your way a little bit. So just kind of push it along the shape of the heart, get a good start going. Kind of want to bring them together. You can just kind of keep flaring these out as you go, out of your way. And just kind of bend them above the 3 wires that you tied with at the end there. Just start curving them out there. And we're just kind of shaping it. Try not to slide your weave up. We want to bring the point together in the center of the heart as close and as low as we can. This takes a little time to shape it around, but when you're done, if you got a good grip on it, it won't fall through the hole, you know. That way when we wire the back, it's not just going to fall out the front. So you just want it to hug it a little bit. So you can just keep pressing it around just so it grabs a little bit of that heart in front. So you get like a nice little shape going. You can't pop it out. So it's starting to get a good shape going here. I feel like that side's a little more bent. In there, just kind of smoosh it around. So if you hold the point down at the bottom and push it around the sides there, you get a nice hug. And by doing this, by bringing it a little in front of the heart, it shows off your pattern a little more. You get more of a show on there, which is always good. And then just slowly want to try to bring them together. I could go off camera to do this, but you know, it does take some time, and don't get discouraged that it takes a little bit. But when you get to kind of where you like the way it's sitting, you can always, hold your wires together and make sure it's got a nice little bed in there. See, that's nice. That's not going to fall out. It's got a good coverage on there. It's got a nice show on the pattern. And then we're just going to bring these first 2 wires in. You don't have to leave the heart in there if you don't want to. Just going to bring the first 2 forward on both sides. So you can flare these out if you want, just so you can see it better. So the bottom 3 are kind of out of the way. I'm just working with these 2. 2 on each side. Make sure we're in the center of the heart again. Am I hitting it? No. Okay. feel like the camera's still hitting my chair here. It's annoying when it's bouncing around. Alright, so that looks pretty good. These little things bother me though. Alright. So you're attached back here behind this wire. And we're going to spin these down. I'm going to kind of flare these two out just a little bit so you can see them. This side and this side. We're going to just be working with these 4 wires here. So you're in the back here. So let's come up and in between those two on this other side. And we're going to bring it together. Let's make sure the heart still fits in there as we pull it tight. I want to make sure where it sits, because this is going to set the distance. And it's not easy to adjust after it's been tied together. So let's make sure we like where we're at here. Centered. Centered's important. I've made quite a few crooked ones. I feel like this should be not so round here. Alright, so it looks pretty good. So we're in between the center here. And we're going to wrap this center one. I'm going to go through the middle, around the back here. And you're going to come up under this one, this bottom one here. I'm going to go between those two and grab that one. So you just wrap each of these once. You're going to come back through and you're going to go over both of them. And then you're going to come between those two again and through the center. And then you're going to come around behind this part. You can come between those two and through the center. And then around the back, and then we're going to grab that second wire on the top there. And then come around the back and you're going to go over both of them and through down through the center. Scooch it down and then back behind. So we're just copying it. Grab that bottom one through the center. And that's the pattern we're going to do. So once you've got a stitch on each side, let's just double check the heart, make sure it fits in there. I feel like this is kind of bent the wrong way. If you got to make any adjustments, now's the time to do it. Alright, so scooch these wires down as far as you can, and then we're going to flare these out a little bit. Because now we're going to create this little piece here. So we're coming up to about, this distance here is like a 1/4 inch. At the top here, that's what we're going to go for. About a 1/4 inch wide on top. So, and you know, they do kind of come together as you weave, so you can kind of pull it out a little farther if you like. You can move these 3 out of your way, just kind of sweep them down. No hard kinks, just sweep them down out of the way. So we got kind of this little shape going here. And we're in the back and we're still down through the middle. So we're going to come between these 2 wires on this side. Down through the middle, down and around the bottom one, and back down through and over both of them through the middle. I'm going to grab this, go through the middle again, Now you're back down through the middle again. I'm going to come behind and go through the middle on this side. Down through the middle, around the back, through the middle, grab the other bar, around the back, over both of them, and go through the middle and the back. Don't know if I should number them, but, and then through the middle again on this side. And then again, through the middle on the bottom too. Around the back, grab that bottom one. Around the bottom and over both of them. Go through between them. Grab that top one, and now you're back down again in the middle. So you're going to sweep over here to the middle of those other two. And don't pull these together, you know, you want them to keep them flared out. Get a little cute design going. So you're going to go to you meet the 1/4 inch mark up here. So just about as high as you want. You know, you could go as high as you want, but I'm just going to go to about there. So we're just going to keep doing this pattern. So you're going to go grab this bar on top, scooch it down, go around and over both. And then through the middle of those two, and down through the center. And sweep over here, go between these two, over the top, around the bottom, grab this bottom one, around the bottom and over both, through the middle just to grab it. And it creates this fun little corset design in the middle here. Around the back, grab this top one. Around the back, over both. Through the center. And then, I don't know if you want me to keep repeating that, but I'm going to go till I reach to the point where, you know, the wires are 1/4 inch apart, or to the size of the top style you like. You know, if you can, like, right about there. And I'll meet you back when I reach that spot. Alright, so I've reached the point where it's about 1/4 inch wide at the top here. I'm liking that. It's a good size. So what we're going to do is you're going to just take your thumbnail or your finger right here, and you're going to hold just that top of that little weave as close as you can to it, and you're just going to bend this up like that and flip it over, because you tend to make the same move the same way. So with your thumbnail just holding that bottom wire down, I'm just going to take this and bend it this way. We're going to create, what we're trying to do is create a diamond that matches this same shape on the bottom, and we want to match that on top. So just kind of move it around till you get pretty close. Just eyeball it, you know, that's pretty good. I'm liking that. So when you get up here to these crosses, just hold one side and just bend it up, just gently. Hold the other side and bend it up so they're side by side, like that. So you got something like that. You can flare these out a little bit so you can grab them, and you can flare these single ones out. We're just going to continue the exact same pattern. And now as you go up, you'll notice that your wires are going to want to slide a little bit, because they tend to want to slide to the point. And that is not a problem. You just keep them as low as you can. So we're on this side, so we're going to come up underneath this one in the middle. And I just kind of hold my finger in the back just as a little guide. I'm grabbing that top bar around the bottom. I'm going to grab this bottom one. Push it down. Go through the center. You know, as long as you keep them pushed down, as long as as you go along, I mean, they do tend to want to slide up, but so you're down through the center, you're going to go through the middle two of the top two, through the center, and when you pull it down here, if you got a thumbnail or a way to hold it down, it works great. Grab that top bar in the back, around the front, and over both, and grab that bottom one again and through the center, around the back and through the center of these bottom two. Scooch it down. We're just going to keep going until we get to the top, and if they do slide up a little, it's no biggie. It still looks really good, and you know, it's minute, so you can't really tell. And even if it does slide up and space out pretty far apart, it still doesn't look bad. Did I go? Yeah, and then through the center. This silver wire is pretty stiff, so it wants to kind of stay where I put it. But you know, once you make that bend, and it wants to hold that bend right there. So around the back, through the center, grab that top wire, back around both, through the center. Grab that bottom one. So, I mean, I don't know if I should keep going again, for the sake of trying to keep this fairly short, but just keep inching your way up to this midpoint, and I'll meet you back here once we reach that spot. Just repeat the pattern. You get this cute little corset design going, and I'll meet you right back. So I reached the top here, and what you want to do is we're just going to tie off on one of the bars. So we're just going to wrap it 3 times. Just any bar, doesn't really matter. We'll wrap it 3 times and then just give it a little spin pull. So that looks pretty good. See, you can see there's a little slippage up there, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter. Still a good fit, looks pretty centered. So you're going to grab like a pencil or maybe a paintbrush, or I got this little dotting tool. So we're going to bend this over the top, and you want to bend it so that this part right here is on the top. So we're just going to bend it around. And I'm just using this to start it, so I got it where I wanted to bend it. But then you're just going to bring it around the back. And down close to, you want to leave enough space so a chain can get through there. So down in the back like that. It's starting to come together. Alright, so next we're going to stay with the colored wire. And this bar that's closest to your last design here, move these two backing out of the way a little bit. Move these two on this side. So we're going to, the next two that are closest to the run here, this one right here and this one, you're going to grab your colored wire. And we're gonna wrap this bar until we got enough to go up and around and meet back here in the center. So approximately, probably about like that much. So I just start down here at the end. It's a lot easier that way. And I count in groups of 10. If you want to match each side identical, you know, you could just do 10 wraps. 1, 2, 3. And then just scooch it down. That's 10. Kind of gives you an idea if you want to match. And that's 20. Yeah, and then they just slide down, so it's easier to work down here at this point. So I think I'm going to do 50. Let's just see how high this goes, because we're about Straighten those out. Good. What? There, that's better. So kind of give you an idea here. So we're going to slide this down as far as you can get it to go down. See, and I'm at 20. So I'm thinking 30. Yeah, I'm going to put 50 on. 50 wraps. Probably going to be more like 60, but I'm going to start with 50. And I just want it to come, we're going to follow this bend, you know, meet right back here at the bottom. So yeah, I think I'm going to do 50 or 60. So just slide this out here so it's easier. That's 20. So I won't make you listen to me count to 50, so I'll be right back. Well, as I was smashing it down, I got closer to 80. And then too, like if you see any bumps or little lumps, you can always take your nylon pliers and just give them a gentle squeeze to round them out a little bit, any imperfections, and then scooch them down. So this is 80. I still don't even know if this is enough. I'm just going to sweep these two down out of the way so I can see better. So on this one, you want to come close to your design, and you just want to kind of just stay just under it. We're just going to come around the back here. So kind of like that. Just slightly lower, but close to it. And make sure it's scooched down here to the bottom. It looks like I still need like 10 more to match right back here. So I'm just going to wrap that, and I'm at 80, so I'm just counting just so the other side's a lot easier to do and it's more symmetrical. If, you know, just seems a little easier. So that's 80. I'm going to slide this out. Seems easier to work from the end of the wire out here than it is to try to do one at a time. So, I think that should be pretty good. Maybe not, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's pretty close. I'm happy with that. So that was, what did I say? It was 80 or 90? Great. I'll just rewind it. Okay, so that's all we're going to do there. And then, and I did snip off the other line there, so we're just going to snip this one off close. And then we're going to copy that on this side. We'll do 80 and see if it matches. Maybe I got 90 on there. Actually, I think I got 90. Alright, so I'll meet you back after I wrap this side. And again, you just want to come along the top there. Match it. Alright, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I matched the other side. Got them both around the back here, about the same number. And they're just meeting back here where this little design meets in the center. Just like that. And leave your line attached. Try to untangle it from these other wires. And then you want to divide, and make sure your heart's in because we're going to start wrapping or tying in the back. So we're just going to separate these three on this side from this side. You want to push these in. And on the front here too, you want to give these a little pinch. Gives it kind of kind of make it disappear just a little bit. Kind of gives it a neat illusion. Just snug them up a bit. Make sure that they're pushed down all the way as far as you can get them down there, low as you can go. So back here on the back, got enough wire on the back. Gonna push these wires up. Always seems like they just keep wanting to slide down. Okay, so we want to position these wires outward, and we want to separate the wires enough that you don't see these wires from the front. So you want to make sure that you move them out of the way so you don't see those. It's a nice clean design. So just scooch them out to the top of the heart here, and hopefully, most likely you're on this top side. If not, it's, well, I don't know. You could always just undo this wire and just wrap this one 3 times and start on this side. What we're going to do is slide under all 3. Put my little heart back in its position. Make sure these wires are scooched up because we're going to start. Oh, it's okay if the heart's out for a second. So just move these up and out of the way. And scooch that red wire up. And we're just going to grab this bottom wire. So we're just going to work with these 3 wires. So I want to grab it up here. And wrap this wire. I'm going to wrap this wire several times. See if I can hit the camera. So you see how this design on this side, there's the bare wires right here that are exposed. Oops, sorry about that. We are going to wrap to we're going to wrap down till we meet right on the edge here of that wire. So I'm just going to scooch it up nice and snug. It'll probably take, maybe, I don't know, just several. And we're actually going to have to remove our wire from the bobbin. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention is you want to be wrapping towards, counterclockwise towards this position, because it's hard to come up through, because once you get your heart in there, it's going to be hard to come up through and grab that wire. So you want to go over, you want to go clockwise. So we're just going to keep wrapping. Let's see, on this side we're going to do the opposite. We're going to have to go counterclockwise so we can grab the wires from the outside. So just keep wrapping until you get, you see this little wire right here. We're going to keep wrapping until we're close to that. So it'll be more clear once I get there. Getting closer. See, I'm going to put my heart back in here just to show you. Another thing you can do is holding your heart where it's supposed to go here. These wires are going to be running parallel, and they're going to take the shape of this outer wire here. So it's a little tricky, but you can start with the outer wire. Kind of just give it a little bend around here. So just hold your thumb and just kind of bend it like that. Kind of get a little start. You don't have to chase the whole heart yet. We're just going to make this corner like that. And we're not there yet, but we're getting closer. Kick that out for a second. So I'm thinking maybe a couple more wraps. And I'm not counting because you really just got to go by exactly where once you reach that edge. Eek. And you want your wires nice and snug, so you don't just want to wrap it 4 or 5 times. You want to make sure you get to that spot there. So once you can kind of pull your wire over here too to check the, see, try not to hit the camera here. But you see how when I fold it across, it looks like it would line up with that edge of that little pyramid spot there. So what we have to do now is, well, we could do a couple more wraps. So we're going to do the same pattern that we did for these little diamonds in the front. We're going to grab these bottom 2 twice. So grab once, twice, what? 2 wires. And then you're going to grab the 3 wires twice. once you're down here, if you are using a bobbin, you're going to have to pull it out till you got like about 2 feet on there. Watch, I'm thinking it's plenty, about 2 feet. So when you scooched up, you can see how you're positioned in that little empty triangle there. And what you want to do is you want to take this wire and put it through right between the 2 bottom wires. Just like that. Believe me, you can still get the heart in here, so you could probably, you know, I could do this one as well and still not have the heart in there. So this one's going to cinch it to the frame. So you're going to pull that close. You can put your heart in there too if you want to have something to leverage against. I mean, if you can work with the heart in there, that's cool, but I noticed that it's a lot easier with, I don't want that bubble in there. You won't like that. So just grab that one wire once, and that's all I'm going to do. I mean, you could go through it twice if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. So then you would just you would grab these 3 twice again. And then the bottom 2 twice. It's okay if your heart's not in there. If your heart's not in it, it's fine. And then grab that bottom wire. So you made your first attachment on there. You just love it when it goes out of focus. Just trying to straighten out my wires. And if you took your flat nose pliers in here, hang on. Alright, I lost my flat nose pliers. Funny, because I had them when I started the video, and I don't remember throwing them. But they were wedged down into the couch. So you can take your flat nose pliers and, you know, and flatten out your little design here, if you like. And then we're just going to continue on. And again, you can put your little heart in here. And then bend your wires to go around that shape gently. And then we're gonna continue to wrap this single wire out here until we line up with this next. Well, maybe I'm too close now. I don't want to hit the. I'll just bend these down. Bend these down out of the way. Okay, that's a lot better. So we're gonna wrap this center one again. Multiple times till we get to. You always check it when we get to the next triangle space there. Make sure my heart is where. So we're gonna do 2. Whoops, sorry about that. I wonder why it's so loud. I don't hear it at all when I hit it, but when I watch the video back, it's like, whoa, super loud. So when you pull your wire up here and you see that you're about on the edge of the next opening on that triangle, that's when you start doing your next pattern here. Something like that. I'm thinking maybe one more. And then you're going to wrap the bottom 2 twice. Then the 3. Keep it scooched down, because once you get that bend in there, it tends to want to keep that spot. So grab that one twice. And then your end of your wire, you're going to poke through this wire too is holding me back. Gonna poke through this wire right. Ooh, we're up here. Don't skip a triangle. If you can't get through there, you can get something pokey like a needle and separate those two wires just a little bit. But since the pattern is spaced out, it's kind of easier to get in there. If you did a tighter pattern, I'd imagine it'd be harder to get between those wires. So then just pull that in, line it up, snug it up. I always try to just guide it where I want it versus, I don't always trust it to go where I want it to. Alright, so then we wrap again. Don't overlap your wires, wrap the 3 wires twice. I have destroyed my nails doing this, but I just can't help it. Plus, you know, just daily life tends to break them. And then grab that single one on the bottom. A couple times. Now you've got 2. Your heart still comes out here, so you can grab your flat nose. Make sure they're lined up next to each other before you flatten them, because if you flatten them before you've got them side by side, then it just keeps them right there. Scooch it down. Get a nice triangle on there. Like so. So, I mean, we could keep going down this side, but I think it's important that we start matching the other side. So I'm just going to put this red wire kind of over and out of the way. And I'm going to grab my bobbin again. And we're going to grab this inside wire. Well, actually, I think I should probably snug this one up, because it'll hold it close. Should I do it like that? I feel like I should. Now remember, this one, we're going to wrap counterclockwise because we want to be able to grab that wire from the outside. So start on the outside closest to you, and then you can just bend these down out of your way. So starting on the outside, then grab that bottom one, the red, with the red line. I'm just going to grab it just a couple times just to grab it. I don't think it'll be noticeable. Alright, so I got a hold of that one twice. I'm going to go under all 3, start on the inside. I think it just holds it better. I think that's how I did it. You know, I always tell myself I'm going to remember, but then I don't. So you just got to wing it. Okay, so we're going to go back to grabbing this center one several times. Jeez, I'm just going to keep grabbing that wire. What is this doing? Stay over there. Alright. So, it takes a little time, but we'll get back down there again. So we're just matching the other side. It's still attached to the bobbin. And we could put our heart in to kind of bend those wires around like a heart. See if I can do this under the camera. Push your heart down in your little cubby hole there, and just give it a nice little push. So you have something like that. This is going to kind of start cinching it in there. got a basic bend going. You can just flare those out and out of the way. So I'm gonna wrap till I get as much on that side as I did this side, just to save a little time. So I'm down here about ready to start my next pattern. As you can see, the little triangle lines up, scooched it down right on the edge here. And I removed it from the bobbin, and it left me about 2 feet to work with. So we're gonna wrap these first two twice. Scooch it up, and then the 3 twice. And then we're gonna grab the end of our red wire here and put it through those 2 wires at the bottom. And then cinch it up. Try not to overlap your wires. And then back to grabbing the 3. You can feel the heart starting to get cinched up in there better. Then you're going to grab 3 twice. Make sure your wires are flared out around the heart here. Push that heart down in there. You'll feel it starting to, want to hold it tight against that top half, and then the bottom is starting to stick out, but you're just going to hold that down as we go. Well, I mean, it'll hold itself down here pretty soon, but it's going to lock it in there real good. And then around the bottom too, twice. Then back to the single wrap. And then again, we're going to wrap down till we get to this next little opening in the triangle. And I'm going to just skip ahead so you don't have to watch me wrap the single bar. And I'll be right back. So I'm back in the position to start this next one. As you can see, once you hit just the edge of this next opening, that's when you start your pattern. And then we're going to do, see how there's 2 on this side, and we're going to have 2 on this side. We're going to do 4 on each side. And I don't know if I should go through every single one, or I could meet you back after we've got 4 on each side. You're just going to do the same thing. Just going to wrap down till you reach the next triangle space and grab it. And you're going to want to keep your, you could get your heart in there after you got 4 on there, but if you can, then it kind of gives you an idea. You need to, how your wires need to be positioned on the stone to get a good grip on it. And sometimes you want to leave them flared out a little bit to get good coverage over those shoulders of the heart. So you got to kind of finagle it around a little bit. Sometimes I tend to wrap these little border wires tight, and then the heart doesn't have a really good snug hug on it. So we go around each one of those, then we're going to slip this through the next triangle center. You can push your heart down with your finger to get it through there. And you're going to notice that when you get down to these bottom ones, you're going to have to push on the heart a little bit to get that wire to come through. And it's a little trickier as you get lower because it is tighter, but it'll go through. It'll come through no problem. Just takes a little patience. So then if you got that one snugged up, push it up. Once you push them up, they should be centered in those triangles, like that. So I think I'm just going to keep going until we got 4 on each side. And I would do, once you get 2 on this side, do 1 over here, then 1 over here, then 1, and then 1. That way your heart's not being pushed in one direction. It's an equal snug happening on both sides. Because you'll feel it'll feel high on one side if you don't, match them the same. So I'll meet you back after I get 4. I'll probably check in on I might check in on as I do the next 4, but I'll see you back as soon as I get those tied in. I wanted to mention too that when you're sewing your sides on, and you want to make sure that it's hugging around the back sides of the heart, because sometimes you can end up just stitching and it's straight up and it's not really holding your heart. But what you can do if you find that you're doing that is you can grab your nylon pliers, grab this wire on the inside, and just give it a little pull. It'll kind of bring those wires over the back of the heart a little bit, kind of just cinch them up as you go, because you do want a little coverage over the back of your heart here. So you can take your fingers too and smush them down and around the shoulders of the heart, just to make sure. I mean, the design that we're going to put on the back will hold it in a lot more, but it's always good that it doesn't pop out at the top here. So you want a good hug on it. So like I said, you can pull on these wires to pull them across your shoulders of your heart a little bit, just a little bit. It looks like I was pulling really hard, but I'm doing a controlled pull, just trying to just make sure that they're over the back of the heart. So little micro tugs, just to make sure it's laying down. Because I notice sometimes it'll end up standing up. And then you can take your nylon pliers and push your pattern down, flatten it, so you don't get too frustrated that, it's all just getting out of control here. So I got 3 on this side, and as you see, I haven't scooched it up yet, but I'm gonna do 1 on this side, do 2 more on this side, and 1 more on this side. And I'll meet you right back after those are done. And once you finish the 4th one, just wrap it 3 times. Don't keep wrapping. But I'll meet you back when those ones are done. Another thing I want to mention too is once you get down to the bottom of your heart, keep your 3 wires over the back of your heart. But once you get down here to the point, you can, just so you can work around these wires, you can hold it back and then bend it down so you can work on your wires like that. So you can get around them without them being all tangled up together here. So you can just move them out of the way like that, and that way you can keep working. But it's starting to get cinched up in there pretty good. It's looking good. Alright, so I'll meet you back in a little bit. So I'm finishing up the last one down here, and I'm just wrapping this last bar on the inside 3 times just to finish it up. And again, you may want to make sure your wires are snugged around your heart. You can smush them around a little bit. So you got like a good cover on both sides. It's in there really pretty good now. It's looking pretty cute. So on this part, you're going to have 2 wires left over. It looks like there's probably about 1 foot on each side. You could pick either side. It doesn't really matter. We're going to remove one of them though. I'm just going to pick the longest one here. Oh, they're identical. Alright, I'm going to remove this bottom one, I guess. My heart pops out, but that's okay. That is not going to happen here pretty quick. So just give this a spin pull. Put that right on the scrap pile. Ooh, jeez, I just spilled my scrap pile. Alright, so we're looking at it like this. And we can just take this center, this little wire right here in the center on the right hand side. I'm just gonna swoop it up like that. And then this next one, just kind of swoop it up. Move these out of the way a little bit. And this last one, just swoop that up. Kind of got some kinks going here. Move that down. I'm just rounding them out a little better. And then the same thing on this side, you're just gonna this is a good start here. So now we're just going to work on making them a little symmetrical. Just so they can match on both sides. That one's going to be a tight circle there. So do the same over here. Make a little tight circle. So we're looking at something like this. Just kind of match them on both sides best you can. And that they meet in the middle right there. Mine in the middle? Guess they are. Alright, so this wire that we have here, we're going to come under, let's see, I'm going to grab those two centers, so let's just sneak up underneath all three here, and get down to the center there in the back. Scooch these wires back. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab these two wires in the center, but we don't want to see it from the front, so you're going to go behind just this one wire right here and slide it down. You're going to jump across and grab just this other top wire here. So it looks like you just got one little tie in the middle. But we're going to do each one twice. So we're going to go back under this one again, scooch it down. You got two, and then underneath this one, and around the back. Slide those down. Try to make them level. That's what we're looking for there, like that. And on this wire that's back here, you're going to go behind the second one down now. And scooch it down parallel with that one. And then come over here and grab underneath this second one. And then back again underneath this second one. So we got one stitch on there. Make sure they're nice and flat and lowered. Scooch that one down. Press it nice and flat. You're going to go under the second one again. So now you got two. So you got a total of 4. Nice and flat. If you want to make sure they're flat, grab your nylon pliers and just press them down nice and flat. So on this third one, you're going to go all the way down and grab to the third wire. So we want to grab each one and lay it across there. And then grab at the bottom of this third wire. And make sure that, hold your thumb so it guides it to where it should be over the top of those other ones. We don't want it to overlap. So we're going to do that one more time. We're going to go under the third one there. Across the top. Side by side. You can hold it there with your finger there so it doesn't go out of place. So now we got half the diamond on there. And now we're going to do reverse. We're going to go back behind the second one. Come across the... got the first one there. We're going to go under the second one. Scooch it down parallel. Come across, go into the second one on this side. Scooch it down and again behind the second one on the other side. That way it's even in the front. And one more behind on the second this side. Scooch it down. I don't think you can get your flat nose pliers in there. Maybe I can just flatten it like that. Yeah, I was too snug to get my flat nose under. So on this last one you're behind here, you're going to go underneath this first one again. And then on this side, you're just going to go under the first one. And then again, under the top one. And then I'm holding my finger just so the wires don't overlap. I'm grabbing that first one again. And then scooch it down. Now you got a cute little diamond in the middle. And we got to tie this one off. So we're going to lift this one little bar up a little bit. Scooch it down. We're just going to wrap it 3 times to lock it on there. And 3. And you're going to remove that tie. Whoa, make sure you hold your wire down. I thought I was. Scooch those down. Boy, sometimes wire's tough. Alright. And you don't want any bubbles on that. So I'm going to grab my nylon pliers and just smash that down. Give it a nice flat look. See if I can get that to focus. So there's that. So on this little, now we're going to need our cutters and our round nose pliers. So on this bottom little curly cue, I'm going to just trim it out to like right about to the edge of the heart, just so I have something to work with, like that. But I'm going to definitely trim that again because I want this little curl fit right in here. So I'm just grabbing the end of it and I'm just going to roll it over. And I always do it a little long because I notice I always have a flat spot when I start these curly cues. And I like to cut it off. So you can see how it's got that little flat spot in it. I don't know why it does that, but then I'm going to just trim that little flat spot off. Actually, I can get a better grip over here. And then I'll just finish curling it up into that little spot. Push it down in there. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to cut it to about to the edge of the heart here. And then just roll it over. Grab the very end of it. And then it's always good to cut them a little longer so you could whittle them down to the size you want. Because, you know, that's, once you cut it, it's hard to stretch them. But then you just take these and push it down in there. Give it an extra twist. Push. Alright. So the second one, I just move these up, just sweeping them out. These are two are going to make the heart. But I want to start with this one here. So when you trim this one, we want to put a little curly cue that kind of comes right here. So I'm going to cut it out to about like right here. And again, it's okay if it's a little long because you can always whittle it down. So I'm just going to grab the end of this and roll it around. So like inside here. That's kind of nice. I'm just going to take just a little off of it. Oops. Because I want it to lay inside that frame there. You don't want it to overlap. So that looks nice. So let's do this side. Cut it just a little long. See if I can remember. About like that. And then grab the very end of it. I'm trying not to hit the camera so it's all like bent out. Yeah, boy. Let's see if I can go like this. Push it. Get in there. Right. So I kind of like a little bit of a, more of a, it feels like it's a little too long, I think. Yeah. I think they're both a little too long. Kind of wanted them a little lower. See, if you trim the other one too short, you gotta trim this one and kind of like this one, but it gotta be the same. Right, so in the middle here, let's just start like, I'm just gonna trim it like right here, kind of where the meets the edge of the frame. I'll trim both, something like that to start. This is gonna be way too big, but sometimes it's easier to see it before you cut it, and then you think, oh goodness, it's way too small. So this way you can kind of get a shape you like going. Just trying to shape it a little bit. And we definitely don't, these end up being snag hazards. So I think it's gonna go a little shorter here. Just gonna take off like a little bit on each side. It's a little short. It's okay. So we're just gonna shapen it to the little heart you want. I think I'm gonna go a little smaller than that. Does that look a little bigger? Oh boy, probably end up cutting too much off. Just little snips. Alright, we're going to come back and I'll show you how I tie these off, because we don't want these to snag on anything. Right, and you can, I think I need to trim that other one a little bit more. I kind of like how this one swirls up and around. I think I'll put a little more of a turn on that one as well. But you can play around with it till you get a nice shape going. I think this one's just a little bit too long. Ooh, don't like to guard the wire either. Alright, it's a good start. It's a good start, and it's out of the way now. And it's looking pretty cute. It's looking pretty cute. Okay, so we put all these in the scrap pile that I threw on the floor. I'll just put them over here. Alright, so now we're back to the silver wire. I'm going to separate these a little bit. So grab your bobbin. And what we're going to do, we're just going to start on this. I'm going to start on this inside wire here. So you just start down here. I'm going to wrap this bar 4 times on the inside. If you can't get down there at the bottom too low at first, that's okay. We will push the pattern down as we go. So that's 3. And 4. When you go around the back here, once you got 4 on there, you're going to go around both of them twice. And this is going to be a repeating pattern of 2 and 4. So you go around both of them twice. And then the inside one 4 times. And then we'll just repeat that. Let me see how many we need. start anyway, so you don't have to watch me do this whole thing. So it's 2 and 4. So you get, see if I don't know if you can see that. Here's a better picture of it. 2 and 4. And let's see, hang on one sec. Alright, so let's start with 14 of those. Remove this tie after you got a few patterns on there. And so that's 2. So let's do 14 of those, and we'll meet back as soon as we got those on here. Save a little time filming, and I'll meet you back. Alright, I got 14 on here, and I wanted to mention that, you know, you gotta take your nylon pliers, smush these down nice and flat, and then hold them out here and then just slide them down so they're nice and snug. Because if you got 14 in there way out here, then it's just not gonna fit. So after you get them all smushed in there nice and close together, got 14 on here. We might need to put a couple more on, but this is a good start. You're gonna take this whole design and kind of push it towards the back here so it's kind of parallel with this red one. And we're gonna follow that red line up and over. And I don't know if you still have your pencil or your bobbin handy. I don't even know if this will fit in there anymore. No, it's not gonna, but that's okay. So we're just gonna chase this line around. And I just bring it kind of like that. Around the back, around the front here. I'm just gonna chase this design. And we're gonna come in front of the red there a little bit, just to kind of give it a little sliver of color. And then press it down, and then I'm holding it with my finger and I'm bending it out a little bit like that. So it kind of comes in front and stops right down there. And if your pattern's out a little farther, let me see, I think, yeah, we want it to stop above this little red design here. So you want it to kind of come right before that, because we're going to put a little curly Q right above the red line here. So we're going to separate these a little bit like that. You got to press, it kind of hides a little sliver of color like that. I wonder if we should put our bead on first before we tie this on. Let's see. So this one, you're going to remove it from the bobbin, and you're going to leave maybe about a foot. And that's probably a little too much, but I just don't like to run out. So I'm just going to, it's about a foot long. So I got that loose. And I'm wondering if we should put our bead on now before we, because once we get all this tied down on there, it's going to be hard to grab those little inner wires. And you can see, we want to tie it back up in there. We don't want it to be seen from the front. So let's just cut a piece of scrap wire. And again, I'll probably cut a little too much. But I'm thinking maybe 10 inches long. Maybe a little more. Alright, so if you got your little bead handy, just gonna thread it here. And kind of see where you want to position it, because you know, you could put it towards, thinking kind of like that, but from the back. So I'm looking here what a good spot we could grab it. Ooh, that went right in there. So what I'm thinking, and I don't like the wires to be seen from the front, so I'm going to flip it over in that little spot that I wanted to grab from the front. So you can always double check it. See that little spot right there is where I'm going to grab it, right there. So keep an eye on that. And then flip it over and then put the wire right through there. Just that half. Let's just make sure that's where we want it. So I'm going to poke it through there. I probably should have cut a longer wire. And then on the other side, in the same spot, gonna go right through there. Pull that forward. Try to not twist your, see, don't want it twisted. Wires don't like that. Alright, well I like that position, like that. It's cute. So when you like where it's at, we're just gonna poke this wire back through. Just gonna sneak it in above the bead here and straight to the back again. And pull that tight. Yeah, this wire. Which one's attached to my... Okay, yeah, don't get those mixed up. Okay. So I'm pulling that one kind of snug. Now this one's the one I'm working on here. So we want it kind of snug up in there. So this one we're going to poke back through too. Kind of around that, right above the bead. Straight to the back. Maybe I should go below the bead. And just snug it up. Just kind of hang on to it and pull it where you want it. So that's pretty snug. Now we got both wires in the back here, which makes it easier to wire onto something. So you can just tie it to anything you can find here. I'm going to just grab this wire back here. See, is that the best? Well, I'm just going to tie it onto this little wire here, which is going to be kind of tricky, but I don't think I'm going to film it because I just think it's been tedious. But you get the gist. You're just going to tie it to a back wire, both sides. Wrap it 3 times if you can get around it 3 times. That's what I'm going to do. And you know, if you can get it through the wire, you can grab it with your needle nose in the back there and just pull it through. But I'll come right back in the, you know, trying to save time on this. But I'll be right back after I tie those. So I wrapped around this bar right here 3 times and wrapped around this little bar here. So I'm just going to snip this wire because I think I got it in front of the bead. And then just pull this one off here. I think I got it under. Kind of. It's hard to see when it's so microscopic, but I think I got it. Pulling on the wire, I was pulling the bead back. So I didn't want to keep pulling on it. Yeah, it goes back up there. Alright, so we got it tied off in the back. And back to the front here. Got a little bead in there. So this one, we're just going to press it down here. And what I'm thinking is, if you can get this little wire to go through, because I want to tie this bar down to this, so you know it's coming around the bottom here. So I'm just going to slit the wire, bending the wrong way. I'm going to try to slip it through there just so I can pin it down to this. I can see it from, doesn't want to go through there. Sometimes you just take another path that's least resistance, even if it comes out the back. is okay, because then you can just put it through the front, through the center and the back. And back through the front, where you originally wanted it to go in the first place. And try not to get any twist in there. I could back up the camera a little bit. So I'm just trying to cinch it down. So I just went through the frame. I just pull it snug. And I came up behind it here. Let me see if I made it on too close. See. So I came up under, but maybe I don't want to do that. So I'm pulling a little closer here. So I'm through the back of the frame, through the center here, and we're just going to go back over the top, right next to where my little pattern is. Scooch that up. And then, I think we grabbed this wire, we grabbed this back wire here twice. So I'm just going to grab this front wire again to kind of continue with the pattern a little bit. But this wire, I'm going to trim this one probably about a half an inch, just so I can, a little long again, so because we're going to put a little curly Q right in here. And it's definitely too long. Like I said, it's better to have it too long and trim it. And then just keep tightening it up till you get it to lay. I feel like I could have done a better job on that circle. But I'm trying to keep it above this little triangle here. It's a cute little detail. I wish I would have left it just a little longer to put a little extra swirl on it. But that is okay. And just push it down. And this one is going to come out. And we're going to put a little curly Q in this little triangle. So we're going to go to the back of it and then bring it forward. And we're going to stay above this little red triangle here. And again, we're going to want to trim it. I'm going to do a little longer this time to start. And then we're just going to curl that up. See, that's too long, but that's okay. I'm going to cut off that flat spot anyways. Curl it up. A little harder to do on camera for sure. Still think that's a little too long. Just keep whittling. These work good too for making a tighter circle. Do I like it like that? I want it a little tighter in the center here. Eek. And this is silver plated copper wire. This isn't real silver wire, but it will scratch off. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, so this one, we definitely want to tie this down. So first I'm going to just press it down ever so gently. And then I'm going to wrap this bar a couple times. Get a little closer out here. Because what I like to do is, if you see, maybe go a little farther. Go to, because we're going to go through the frame on this other side. So yeah, that's probably good. See if I can focus on this. So these are the fun parts, is when you're starting to tie it all in and you want it to look good because you don't want all this stuff on the outside. You want to slip between your front frame here and this back wrap. You want to just come through the center here. So you're kind of coming through the back. That way you don't see these tie downs. So cinch that up tight. And then what's cool is, and then to do it in the, don't come up above you on your red here. You want to come up over here on your silver and sneak up. You know, maybe it's just easier to, this wire's just, the end of the, sometimes when the ends of your wires are real roughed up from being jammed through, you just trim off that part. So we're going to grab this little loop and just come underneath it here. Because I smashed it down too far. Just slip under there. Grab that loop. Snug it down to the edge. Don't pull it in front of the heart, just to the edge there. Maybe go around it one more time. Grab this little loop. Okay, I think I pulled it down too tight again. Oh boy. It's what you want, but then it makes it harder to get in there. There it goes. And 2 should be plenty. It's not like there's nothing to be pulling on it. Push them together. And then you're going to go back through the back of this heart. And this is tricky because it's, you know, the heart's pressed against the wrap. So, wherever you can find a little opening. Oh, that was pure luck. It just came right out, right where I went in. So just pull that through. Make sure, again, it stays in the silver spot. Hides it better. I'm pulling it pretty tight. I want it laying on there. Another little trick you can do so you don't see this is you put a dent in that wire right there. And then it kind of disappears. I don't even like it near the red there like that. And then you circle back to the other side here. We're going to grab the back of this loop to tie it off. And then it holds it down on both sides against the frame. Get in there. Come on. Good for the camera. Oh boy. You start out. Just lift it up a bit. And again, you only probably need a couple reps on this. Oh, it popped out. You know how many times I've done that? The wires, this is silver colored wire, is pretty stiff. Oh yes, stay there. Make sure you don't grab that inner loop. So 2 of these would be good. At least 2. And that ties it down nice. Oh, we're almost done. It's so exciting. I don't know how long this video is, but I always tend to make long ones. Just maybe I over-explain. Alright, so I'm just going to put 2 on here. And then just pull it tight as you snap it off. So that's how we want the other side to look. Now should I walk through this whole other side? I think we got the gist of it. You're going to start on the inside with your silver wire. Where is it? Oh. Alright, I'll be right back. Wanted to mention too, see that little wire comes across there? You don't want it to kind of stand out. Just put a little dent in it. Put a little dent in there, then it hides it. Alright, so let's do the other side. So we're going to do 14 again. You're going to start on the inside wire. And I'm not going to film this part, but just make sure that you press it down, push it down nice and snug and tight, and I'll be back when there's 14 on there. So I put 14 on this side, and then again you're going to want to push it towards the back so it chases along this red. We'll want to match the other side the best you can. So I think that looks pretty good. And push it in over the red spot there. It's kind of stiff wire. And kind of get close there. Kind of just match that other side the best you can. I wasn't going to film this part, but figured I should. So just smush that around so you get it about the same there, or as close as you can, like that. Yeah, that looks good. And then again, you want to cut your wire from your bobbin, leave about a foot on there. I'm going to put a little curly Q on here and copy this other side, just like you did the other side. And I'll come back after I got these two sides done. Remember to, press your weave down nice and tight and snug it up so that they end about the same spot, nice and close together. Alright, and I'll be right back. Alright, I tied the second side on, matched the other side, pretty good. Got lucky with that one. Alright, so it looks like the front is pretty done. So we're going to flip it over, and you're going to grab a piece of scrap wire, probably about, I think it's about 8 inches long. And we just want to tie this little one on the outside here. So what I try to do is I try to get through the frame first, because if you can't get through there, you don't want to tie it on first. Oh, that went right through. So we're going to slip this side through, and on this one, because we want it to go around the wire, so this is going to be a tricky one, but I'm just going to put it through here and hope for the best that it comes out. Oh, total lucky there. Sometimes those wires don't want to come through. So now you got a good place to tie these on with. So we'll start with one wire, and you're just going to wrap this a couple times just to secure it so you don't snag it on clothing and stuff. I'm going to wrap it, see, like 3 times. Like you want to go smooth like that. There's 2. I'll show you this side, but the other side's the same way. You're just gonna try to find a way in so you don't see that tie on there. Just wrap these each 3 times. And then just pull it off. It breaks it so short you don't even see it. And then the same thing on this one. I'm just going to scoop under there. Sometimes you can go around the loop and catch it, but it just takes just as long to do it this way. And then that will secure this down and hold the back end better as well. Little final touches. So it's almost done. This one's a little tedious, and you could definitely do a different back design on this one if you wanted to, but think it's kind of cute with the Valentine's Day coming up and everything. So that's how you tie it on, like that. And then it just disappears under the frame. You just grab one bar, put through there and tie it on. And now it won't lift or nothing. And I won't film this side, but you got the gist. You just slip it through there and grab it. But polish it up a little bit. Looks like it's done. Let's see. Get a good shot of this. So I made a couple of them. And I think I'm going to put a couple of these in my shop. And then I made a blue and copper one. I thought it'd be cute with jeans. And this one, since it was an opalite and you could see through it, I did a different back on this one so that you wouldn't see the design through it. Just right down to the bottom and tied it in. But you could do any colors. Even I did just a copper on copper one that was absolutely beautiful too. But different styles, different ideas. But we finished it. It's all done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next design. Until then, you guys have an absolutely beautiful evening.